Hey guys, thanks for your patience. I've got it working now, so hopefully we'll be able to stay on for a little while. And I'm also watching the comments so I can answer your questions. This is part of what I love doing, is helping people with health. So I think I've only done one live before and I wasn't able to read the comments, so I'm going to do my best to answer your questions here. I've got a few things that I'm going to talk about this afternoon, depending on where you are, regards to health. So just so that you know, I'll start by just telling you a little bit about me. So I'm a health detoxification coach. I bring a lot of different modalities into my practice. Mostly my passion is detoxification, cleaning out the body. Also I work in energy cleansing and things like that as well. But today we're going to talk about detoxification, specifically how to get heavy metals and things out of the body. I did have a really good video. In fact, it's still on Instagram, so I'll talk about it, and if you want to have a look at it, you can go to my Instagram. But this particular video was about nanoparticulates, but TikTok has taken down twice, so I'll leave it now. And if you guys want to find out about it, I'll go over to my Instagram, because it's a really good video. But I'm going to teach you today how to get rid of some things in regards to detoxification. So just tell me where you're from, guys. So I'm currently in Australia. It's just after 12 in the afternoon here. I do have a Scottish accent. Yes, I am Scottish, but I've been living in Australia for 37 years. So I didn't pick up the accent. So most of my life really has been spent here. I grew up here, but I'm very Scottish. And I've got a lot of Scottish followers, actually. So they're probably sound asleep right now. So just tell me where you're from. Maybe some of you are up in the middle of the night. It's really hard going with the sleep cycles at the moment. I've been waking up myself in the middle of the night and putting up and checking into TikTok to see who's on. So nobody's telling me where you're from. Tell me where you're from. I'd love to hear. Just say which country you're from. Maybe you're all from Australia. And if you put up little flags, I don't know where all the flags are from. Okay. Anyway, we've got a few people here now. So let's start talking a little bit about detoxification. So I've just actually finished a private retreat with one of my clients. He came up here I live in the Whitsundays in Australia. It's a very beautiful part of the world where the Great Barrier Reef is. You may have heard of that. And I run personal and group retreats here. The personal ones seem to be more popular at the moment. So basically what I do is I work with a person one-on-one for a period of 5 days to 7 days. So my client just left yesterday, and the reason I'm inspired to do a live is because what I saw change in 5 days with this guy was mind-blowing. It still blows me away, all of this amazing work. So I'm going to share with you today some of the things that I did on the retreat, and you can ask questions down the line as well about your health, and I'll do my best to come in and sort of support you with what's going on for you. So when I work with someone, first of all, if they come for a private retreat, I work out whether I think we can work together, because not all personalities get on well. And some of them are more difficult to work with. Some don't want change. Some are just amazing and just jump into it. So I need to work that out before I work with people. But thankfully this chap was just amazing and was able to just say, yes to everything I told him to do, basically. And my base is fasting. So when we do fasting, I don't do water fasting here unless somebody's more advanced with fasting. It's more juice fasting. So I want to answer some very common questions right now about fasting, and a lot of people get confused about juices and smoothies and things like that. So fasting just means abstaining from. So that can be even food. It can be a particular food. Some people just fast from meat, for example, or fast from a particular thing that their religion requires. But it just means abstaining from. So basically, when we do the juice fasting, my clients are having juices every day. So maybe usually 4 juices is enough. And they all say to me, how I'm going to be hungry, I'm going to be hungry. And it's like, well, it's not you that's going to be hungry, it's a parasite. So we're going to deal with them as well, which I'm going to talk about as well in a little while. Very important topic. So the parasites are the things that make you hungry. So I usually have a deal. One chap, before he came on retreat, he was ready to cancel. His wife was begging me, what am I going to do? And I just gave him a safety net. I said, listen, if you get so hungry that you just can't bear it, I promise I'll make you a salad. And that was kind of his safety net to come here. But by the way, he lost 8.7 kilos, an amazing transformation in the 7-day period. So juices, the reason that we get full on the juices is because we're actually giving our bodies all the nutrients that they need. So if you can imagine, here's a typical juice. So one of my favorites actually. So pineapple, apple, kale. Oh, I'm getting a little sign here. Swipe to filter comments. Oh, there's some nasties on. Just ignore the nasties. So pineapple, apple, kale, and lime with the skin on, as long as it's organic, all through the juicer. And you can put cucumber, broccoli, some of the greens in there as well. So imagine all the nutrients that are coming from all of those fruits and vegetables. And if you could imagine them all laid out on a plate in front of you, it's massive. You couldn't eat all that. And then sometimes I whip through an avocado through the blender if we want some good fats in there. So basically you're getting a glass of liquid fuel, and that feeds your body. So you actually don't get hungry. And now what happens is when you're juicing, you don't need to engage the digestive system. So the digestive system uses about 80% of our energy. So when you juice, you're actually filling the body with all the nutrients that it needs, but you're not engaging the digestive system. So that 80% of energy then becomes available to help cleanse and heal the body. And this is where massive transformation can take just in a period of 5 days or so. And it really depends on your health issues. But I really see some phenomenal things happen. The difference between juicing and smoothies is that juices don't have the fiber, so you don't need to engage the digestive system, whereas the smoothies do. Smoothies have fiber, and I'm not saying they're bad by any means, because when we transition back into eating again, I'll bring them into people's diets. But to do a juice fast, it just cleans the body out quicker. The smoothies obviously have got the fiber, so then you do need to engage the digestive system. Let me just see if I can see any of the comments here. Oh, you're all quiet. Somebody talking about a car. All right, let's keep going. If you've got any questions, try and put them in. So if you've got anything questions right now actually about juicing and smoothies, just put them in and I'll answer now before I move on to the next topic. So the other thing that happens when you juice is you're actually hydrating the body. So many people are very dehydrated, and this causes so many issues with, the colon, with constipation, with dried, even your synovial fluid. Your body can feel tight and sore if you're dehydrated. So many people come to me and they're not used to drinking water, and they're not having juices or fruit. I mean, you hydrate through fruit. So we use a lot of fruit. And before I move on, let's address, the big bad fruit. There's so many people condemn it. Fruit is really our natural food, and this is a huge debate. By the way, I was trained by Dr. Morse. I'm a Dr. Morse practitioner, so this is where my teaching comes from, and my experience as well. So I really believe in his teaching because I've seen miracles with people's body, with complete illnesses that they were told you'll not survive, you've only got so long to live. I also work with a lot of cancer patients. I work with plant medicines as well. So I have seen people that have literally been given the death sentence. The medical system have said, go and get your affairs in order. And they've come to me at a last resort. And I've seen the body change so much just by doing these simple things. Juicing, fasting if they need as well. And then parasite cleansing. Guys, this is number one. I never do cleansing without parasite cleansing, because as much as people like to tell me, oh, I don't think I have them, we've all got them, okay? They're in our foods, they're even in the air now. We won't get into the why, but they're pretty much everywhere. Now more than ever, it is so important to do parasite cleanses. So the combination of parasite cleansing that I use is two types. I use one parasite cleanse that actually paralyzes the parasites so they can't eat, and another parasite cleanse that kills the parasites and kills the eggs. And this is what's important, because a parasite, take one for example, can lay, wow, I've forgotten, it's like millions of eggs. Now what happens is those eggs lay dormant until the mother dies. When the mother dies, it sends out a signal and it wakens up all the little eggs. They start, hatching, that's the word. They start coming online. So basically, it can get a lot worse before it gets better. And this is why you've really got to understand what kind of parasite cleanse you're doing, because some of them, you're just wasting your money. But over the years, I've tried so many, and this is what works for me. It's the combination of the parasite that paralyzes, the herbs that paralyzes the parasite, and the combination of killing off. Now, when my clients leave here, they continue this parasite cleanse up to 12 weeks to make sure that all the eggs have gone as well. And that is a game changer. It really is. I see people change completely, even your personality. Guys, these things are alive. They have, they've got thoughts. They actually affect our thoughts. They can affect our moods. They definitely affect what we want to eat. You get rid of the parasites, you won't be craving the starchy, sweet things, because that's usually what they like. And your appetite won't be as extreme. So when people are just so hungry, they just can't stop eating, that's usually a sign you've got parasites. So the combination, oh, hello from Israel. What time is it over there? I was talking about Israel yesterday. I teach Bikram yoga, and there was a school there in Israel that I was connecting with years ago when I had my studios. So yeah, I've lost my train of thought now, but basically parasites, juice cleansing. And guys, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Not everybody has money to come on retreats or do private retreats or whatever. You can do it at home, and the internet is wonderful for resources now as well. I've got some online courses in regards to changing your diet if you want to learn more about plant-based stuff. But when it comes to fasting and cleansing, I also do consultations. You can book a detox consultation with me no matter where you are in the world. I do Zoom, and I can basically guide you based on where you're at with your health issues, the best things to take, the best things to do, and how to do a juice cleanse. Not everybody is able to do. I don't have any webinars yet. I've still got to learn the technology to do webinars. I have so much information up here. And look, and this is why I've decided just to come on and start sharing things on TikTok, because when people talk to me, they just go, where does all this come from? It's like 30 years I've been working in health and studying and having my own experiences. And one of the things my clients love about me is that I put everything through my own body. So I test everything. I test herbs. I test plant medicines. I taste everything on me first, and then I'll say, oh, don't try that one. Or then I'll say, wow, you've got to try this one. This is awesome. And when it comes to things like the best products to get as well, juicers, for example, my client that was just here, he was like, I want to get a juicer. So he just got home, sent me a picture of his juicer, and I was like, oh, that's terrible. No wonder you're getting lumps in your juice. So he's just ordered a top of the range juicer, because you waste a lot of money buying things just because of advertising. So these are the kind of things I like to advise you on, so that you don't waste money, really. Products and supplements, oh my goodness, people come to me and they're on, oh my goodness, I had a woman recently who had cancer, but she had spent thousands of dollars on all these tests that went to Thailand and all this stuff. I looked at her report, because when you do a consult with me, you tell me your medical issues, and then I come on and basically guide you based on what's wrong with you personally. And she could have saved thousands of dollars just by having a consult, because I was able to work out exactly what was wrong with her. One of the things I learned in Dr. Morse, studying with Dr. Morse, is that a lot of the issues that people are having have got to do with glands and organs, and a lot of things have got to do with kidneys, lymphatic system, and that's really what I start working on straight away. Most people have weak kidneys. You get your mum's kidneys, and then if your mum had weak kidneys, your kidneys will be even weaker, and these are definitely glands. Now, all glands can be regenerated. We use herbs for that, but the number one thing we do is actually start to clean the body out. Let me just see if there's any questions there for you guys. How long to get them out? Okay, how long to get them out? Well, it depends. I always recommend 12 weeks at least. And you know when you've got them, guys, because what happens is you start to get bloated. Like, I know if you've got an animal, if you've got a dog or a cat, you've got parasites. So every time I used to worm my dog, I would do a parasite cleanse as well. But you know, a lot of people are saying things like, you just do a week. You can't with parasites, because they've got the eggs, and this is why you've really got to keep going with it. It doesn't cost a fortune. It's just that you've got to do it regularly. And when they're gone, you'll feel it when you're going. You've got a flat belly for a start. This guy that just did the retreat with me, when he arrived, like, he wasn't obese at all, but his belly started just under his chest. And he said something about being overweight. I said, you're not overweight, you're inflamed and you've got parasites. And that's why by the end of the 5 days, his belly was flat. And he had lost between 4 and 5 kilos. His energy was just through the roof. His brain fog had gone. He was clear and focused about, you know, what he wants to change in his life. So that's what can change. And it really doesn't take much. Clean your body out. And sometimes people come to me with lots of supplements that they've got from their doctors or naturopaths usually. And it's a waste of money, because you're congested. You're absolutely congested. It's like, think of a filthy, dirty pond, and then you're putting expensive things in. You just got to clean it out, guys. That doesn't cost a lot of money to clean it out. So anyone can do this. And to be honest, where we're at right now with what's going on in our world, we all need to put health number one. Number one, we are being inundated. We're being inundated with chemicals from what they're spraying, from what we're eating, from what's in the water. We are being inundated with nanoparticulates. Yes, we do have them in our bodies, and even though my video has been taken down, please go to Instagram and look for that video, because I did it myself in my own body. I watched a video with a guy called Tony Palaresco. He was being interviewed by a naturopathic doctor, and he has created a device. It's called the Bermuda Triangle, that you put in the bath, and it pulls the nanoparticulates out of your body. Now, what he's found is that when people get rid of those nanos, the pains and aches and diseases that they've had in their bodies for years have gone. I wonder why my video's been taken down. So there are other ways to do it. To get those nanos out your body, what you can do if you don't have the funds to buy one of those devices is to do detox baths. Now, to get the nanos out your body, you have a bath as hot as you can tolerate it. You put in a cup of Epsom salts that opens things up, right, so that the nano can come out. A cup of baking soda and a cup of borax, and you put them in your bath, and you sit in the bath for about 20 minutes. And don't use soap or anything like that, because it kind of clouds the water. Just sit in the bath as much as you can go up to there. And I did it, and what I saw coming out of me were like little black particles. And there was one long thing, it freaked me out. Now, basically there's communication going on in there. These nanoparticulates are communicating with the towers, and we are being programmed. So the more we get these things out of our bodies, the freer we become. Because how many of you are feeling at the moment that you're tired, that it's not like it used to be, you're not sleeping as well, things feel strange. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. So this is where I think cleaning out our bodies of all of these, and that's why I combine all of it. So the juicing, the parasite cleanse, the getting rid of the nanos. And this guy who did it basically said a lot of things that we call diseases nowadays are caused by these nanos. And what he found with people that have been using the device, they have had back pain, for example, for years and years, gone, because what it is, it's these little things all gravitating together in one particular part, causing more congestion and whatever else it's causing, we still don't know. But what he said was there was these tiny little black dots, and he said these dots, each one of them can have about 100 nanos, and each nano can hold about, I think it was a terabyte of data. Huge. So basically they're in our bodies and they are communicating and with something outside, the towers for example. And I know it sounds like science fiction, but look at our world right now. So when I do cleansing, I do very much the parasites, but the heavy metals. Now I've got a video on my TikTok, you can scroll back and have a look at it. It's a heavy metal detox drink. It's very simple to make. You just juice coriander. If you're in America, maybe you call it cilantro. So you juice that, add a lemon, and then put in a teaspoonful, thank you for the rose, a teaspoonful of spirulina, a teaspoonful of chlorella. Fill it up with water. I just give it a quick mix in my blender, and that bottle goes in my fridge until it's finished. I have a shot or like a double shot every morning before I have anything else, and then once it's done, I fill it up again. At the moment I'm doing it all the time. There are some protocols I start and then stop, but at the moment the heavy metal one, every day, because we're getting bombarded every day. So and the other thing I take is shilajit. So there's a lot of people talking about how wonderful shilajit is with all the minerals, and it also gets rid of heavy metals. So guys, these are the things we need to be spending our money on at the moment, is taking care of our health. You know, I get clients that come to me that are very wealthy and they're very sick because they spend all their time making their money, getting their houses and their cars and their boats, and they've got cancer and they've got congestion and arthritis and they're unhappy, and there's a lot of that. And this is what I say to them: we have to get rich by looking after ourselves. That should be number one. Guys, have you got any questions? I've been waffling on there for a while now. Let's have a look. Hello from Africa. Yeah, I guess the Scots are in bed right now. Okay, so you're all very quiet. Let me just see. So heavy metals, and then of course one of the other important things is exercise. Now I had Bikram yoga studios for many years. Bikram yoga is a very intense form of yoga. It's done in 38-degree heat. I don't do that anymore, but I do the sequence, because the sequence of that yoga is very healing for the body. So I just teach one class a week, but I do my own class daily. And what I do is, maybe not do it for 90 minutes, but it's important to move the body. With these particular asanas, they were put together to heal the entire body. So by the time you've practiced all 26 postures, you're actually moving through every organ, every gland. You're cleaning the blood by bringing in a lot of oxygen. Oxygen gets rid of toxins as well, and it heals the body. So we do it like it's like, a good way to describe it, it's like an irrigation process. So if you can imagine getting a garden hose, and on your garden hose, if you kink it, the water doesn't get through. So it's kind of like that when we're doing this style of yoga. We move into an asana, we hold, freeze, and what happens is we're kinking. The blood doesn't get into that particular organ. Say you're working on the liver or the kidneys, so the blood is building up and building up and building up, and then when we release the posture, the blood flushes in and it pushes out toxins, and it's rich in oxygen. So this is how it regenerates. This yoga, and I've done lots of styles of yoga, but to me it really is the best for health and wellness, because the sequence was actually designed It was designed to heal all systems, all organs and all glands of the body. And that's why it's really a game changer when it comes to health. So I incorporate that as well in my retreats and in my own practice. So just going back to what I talked about so far, the detox that I recommend is to start juicing, parasite cleanse, heavy metal cleanse, and a body movement, yoga. And the other thing that I do that's very important is colonic irrigation. Now, wherever you are, I'm sure that, well, depending on where you are, and you might be in Africa, and it might be a bit hard for you though over there, but try to find a really good colonic hydrotherapist, because we hold so much waste in our colon. I'll give you an example. I used to run retreats in Bali, and the resort where I ran my retreats had a colonic clinic basically, and the little nurses were telling me one day that there was a chap who had been a vegetarian for 30 years, and he did his very first colonic and a piece of meat came out. So that's how long things can stay in your colon, and it gets stuck in there and it putrefies, and all of these toxins and wastes are constantly just coming out through your body. So this is another thing that's so important, guys, to clean your colon. And there are herbs you can take to clean the colon, and one of the things, because I combine herbs that soften the plaque within the colon, because the plaque is like tire rubber, but your parasites live in there and they create like mucus around them. So if you can pull that plaque out, and some people post photographs of it, it really is like tire rubber. That plaque, when that comes out the colon, so just imagine this. Imagine your colon should be nice and wide like that, so that everything can move through with ease and grace. But then if you don't clean it, imagine if you didn't clean your teeth for however old you are. Say you're 50 years old, you haven't cleaned your teeth for 50 years. Imagine the plaque on your teeth. Well, it's like that in your colon. So your colon, if you haven't cleaned it for 50 years, then all that plaque builds up here, and what happens is it gets smaller and smaller for everything to move through. And it's very hard for your digestion process because of this plaque. So what happens if you do colonics and you do a mucoid plaque cleanse, this plaque will start to clean away. It comes out through the colonic, and I'll talk to you about the different types of colonics. It comes out through the colonic and literally opens up your colon wall again, and so you've got this lovely open colon, and then your digestion just flows, absolutely flows. So a lot of people that are diagnosed with Crohn's disease and all sorts of digestive issues, a lot of it is that they're just congested with backed up poop basically. So that's really important. With the colonics, there's different types. There's an open colonic or a closed one. I prefer the closed one because you've got a nurse or somebody that's been trained with you, and you can actually see what's coming out, and it can be, yeah, if you've got someone that knows what they're doing, they'll tell you you haven't digested your carbohydrates, you've got candida, you've got parasites in there. It's quite amazing to watch it flow through. That's the one I recommend, because they also give you deep massage into the colon, and it can help. And some of them that are very good at it can actually feel where you might have a pocket of waste that's stuck in there, and then she can move it through. And the other thing is, we hold a lot of emotions in there. We hold a lot of emotions in the colon, and that's why when I do my group retreats, I always get everybody to go and rest after they've had their colon, because there might be some tears, there might be some memories coming up, because we're walking around holding all that stuff all the time. The other type of colonic is I feel like 4 that's good for the skin. Oh my god. The other type of colonic is actually an open one. So it looks like a big bath, and you lie with just, your bum goes in the bath part, and then the tube is much smaller. You pop that in and off they go, and they kind of leave you with some music, and it just whatever comes out through the tube in there. And look, if you only have one colonic available and that's it, do that. If you've got the two types available, then try the close one, because that's where people get, honestly, the best results. So as I said, so this client that was with me, he had his best colonic yesterday. It was the day he was leaving. So all the juices and the herbs and everything he was taking, and that was just the best move. And I think that's why he felt so light at the end of it. And you know what, a lot of guys, cringe at this. I had one lady actually in Bali who said to me, Norma, I don't want to do the colonic part of your retreat. And I went, honey, that's the most important part. You have to do it. And she was I think she was in her late 60s. She looked like Mrs. Doubtfire. She came back the next year as well. But she came out of the colonic system and she went, oh my God, I've lost 3 kilos. She was absolutely hooked. So basically what I'm saying is all of this makes a huge, huge difference, and every one of you can do it at home. I'd love you to come and spend time with me here in the Whit Sundays, but if you can't, you can do it at home, and it's actually quite easy. And when you start to do that, guys, regularly, you can decrease your aging. Ailments that you think you've had for life. I've had people with arthritis that are just absolutely riddled with pain. Amazing now, going for walks. I had one guy, his hand was like this, he couldn't open his hand. That opened up, and I see this all the time. So this is why I decided to come on and share with you, because I thought people need to know it's actually not that hard. And sometimes, you just need a little bit of guidance. You just need a little bit of guidance. When I work with people, I teach them how to do it themselves. I want to empower you how to become your own health coach, really. So I just want to be a guide and say, this is the best way to get started. And then from then on, I've had people that have done retreats with me. My last client, he's still sending me juice recipes that I'm like, oh my God, you put lime with turmeric? That's amazing. And he's on his own little journey now. And now and again, they'll check in for a little follow-up or a chat, but he knows how to do it on his own now. And that's really my goal, is to teach you guys how to do it on your own. So let me see if you've got any questions. Thank you for the little roses and things. As I say, I'm new to this, so I'm still getting used to everything. The way do I do it? Okay, nice man. I love your names. Okay, so just ask any questions, guys. I mean, I'm sure I can see them. Somebody said something about a juicer back there. Oh, here we are. Oh, they've been filtered. Are you sending me negative ones? That's not good. 5 a.m. Wherever you are. This is Captain. Okay, so I can see a couple of questions there. So that's basically what I recommend, and it's not hard. It's really not hard. And let's talk a little bit about what you put in your juices, because organic is important. It is definitely important, because a lot of our foods are sprayed with chemicals, and then especially if you're juicing, the foods that are sprayed with chemicals, you're going to juice it. It's going to go into the body much more quickly than if you were eating food with chemicals in them. So that's why it's so important to get organic. Nowadays, given what is being sprayed in our air, nothing is really clean. Might have been grown organically, but it's never really clean, so I still wash everything. And if you can't manage to get organic food, then wash it in a solution of apple cider vinegar and filtered water. Yes, exactly. Organic doesn't mean chemical free. Thank you, that is so true. And you know what, when I bought organic, I used to not wash it, because you get all the nice little microbes that were in the soil and the food, and they're really good for your gut health and everything. But now, even organic, I wash it, because just of what is happening in our atmosphere. And it's sad, but yeah, we've just got to wash that as well. And look, these chemicals are not just coming through what we're breathing in, what is being sprayed. They're coming through what has been put in the food. And this is why it's another thing that's really important, is to try to eat with as low human intervention as possible. And that means, you pick up an apple, it doesn't need to have a label on it that says apple. But if you buy foods from boxes and cartons and tins, it's filled with lots of chemicals and all sorts of things. And to me, a lot of it isn't even food. Food is grown, and even better, grow your own if you can. If you've got a little patch of land, grow your own food. And then, you don't need to spray it with things. You've just got to clean off the chemicals if you can that's coming in. So it's so important, guys, the food. In fact, it's everything. It's everything. There is a saying, you are what you eat. You become everything in your body. So this arm becomes an arm because of what I'm putting in my body. Everything is making our bodies. And our bodies are changing all the time. Our cells are regenerating all the time. And it's so important to put in food that is going to nurture our bodies. I see some people treat their cars better than their bodies. They go, don't put in the cheap petrol. Put the really expensive one in. But then they go and buy a pie or something at the service station. We need to get back to understanding that the way that our health is, if we're not well, it's got a lot to do with food. You've also got the doctrine of signatures. The doctrine of signatures will tell you, by looking at the food, what part of the body it's good for. So for example, celery, it looks like a bone. It has 21% sodium, like a bone. It snaps like a bone. It's good for your bones. And then you've got walnuts that look like a brain. Good for the brain. Kidney beans look like a kidney, good for the kidneys. It's not rocket science. It's just that we haven't been taught that. It's old medicine. And that's what we need to get back to. We need to go back to the old ways. When our grandparents, my mum, my granny, they made everything. So there was I don't even remember. I think I remember when supermarkets started coming in. The butcher came around and the fishman came around, and they went to the vegetable shop. There was all these little vans, and the stuff that they were eating is not the stuff that we're eating. Everything that we're eating has been contaminated with chemicals. I don't eat meat. I haven't for about 27 years. That's a choice I make. I honestly think my body's better. I tried even going back on fish a couple of times. Doesn't work for me. Doesn't work. My body is a machine on vegetarian food. That's it. I've tried, and I'm probably one of the oldest vegetarians, because you've got all these new vegans coming out just ranting on. Sometimes they don't know about nutrition. You can't just eat packaged pretend meat and packaged pretend chicken. You'll get sick, and then your doctor will say that's why you shouldn't have eaten meat. No, everything we need is in the plants, the fruits and the vegetables. And there's always debates about it, but I'll be 59 this year, and my body is better on vegetarian food. So sometimes I might take a little supplement here and there if I feel I need it. This is another thing, guys. It's so important to get used to your own body. Somebody else might need to eat the meat. They might be there for a little while until their body evolves enough to processing, the fruits and vegetables. That's where we're headed. We are headed that way. And for moral reasons as well, I definitely think in a kinder world, we won't be hurting anything, each other or the animals. So I'm sure that's where we're heading, but there's lots of debates on that, and I'm not getting into that. You can look at my website. I've got lots of information on my website. I've got online courses, they're on Udemy. They don't cost very much. I've got how to transition into a raw vegan diet, and it's how to do that, how to get started. That's on my website. I've got how to ditch dairy if you want to get rid of dairy. I've got the yoga courses, Bikram Yoga, Bikram Express, the 5 Tibetan rites. They're all on my website, so these are all things you can do at home. I've also got my story. I wrote a book about my journey, and there's a lot in there about my health journey was a big part of it, but I also went through quite a lot of narcissistic relationships, so there's a lot about that in there, and these are other things I teach as well about narcissistic abuse and recovery from narcissistic abuse. And really the reason I call myself a holistic wellness coach is because all of it's important. It's important, definitely, what we eat, also who we're hanging around with, and how to take care of ourselves. I was also spent a lot of time in India, and I do a lot of meditation, did a lot of meditation. I don't do so much anymore. My journey has taken me through all these little paths to learn that we need a little bit of everything. And I was, very fanatical about the fitness side of things for a long time, and then I went into the food, and then I went into the spiritual, with going to the ashrams and meditating. And now where I'm at in my life is I've come back to a place of balance. So I'm not fanatical about anything, but balance, taking care of my health, also having a nice time. Don't want to deprive myself of anything, but at the same time I don't put things in my body that I know it's going to hurt me. So guys, I think that's probably about enough for today. That was a good exercise for me because it worked quite well. I'll just check and see if there's any more comments here or questions I can help you with. Okay, here we go. I'm getting quite a few of them now. Gee, you're shy. Normally when I look at lives there's so many questions. Maybe it's because it's one of my first ones. So I'll just give you a couple of minutes there, and just if you have any questions about your own health, just put them in and I'll see, if I can give you any advice. What kind of issues are you experiencing, if it's got to do with sleep. Actually, that just brought to mind, let's talk a little bit about sleep. A lot of people are having problems with sleep right now. Where I am, and I'm in Australia, they're really ramping up the 5G. There is talk that it's more than 5G, that it could be 6 or 7, because myself and my neighbours are not doing too well in regards to sleep. And the other day I came home and there was a guy in my driveway from the electricity company, and I said, "Oh, are you doing a reading?" And he said, "No, I'm putting in this device." And I said, "No, you're not. What is that?" And he said, "Oh, it's just a safety device." And I went, "No, it's not a safety device." It was a smart meter. And he said, "Oh, you don't have to have it if you don't want to." And I said, "No, I don't want it." So thankfully something guided me home at that minute, because if I had been 5 minutes later, that would have been installed into my house. Sadly, my other neighbours around and about weren't aware of it. They are now, because I've told them and sent them some material on it, and they've all got them. So now they're going to have to go through the process of getting them removed, because these things are not good, guys. And even though I didn't get one in my house, my neighbour's house is quite near, I haven't been able to sleep. So one of the things that I recommend for sleep, because I did it last night, there's certain medicinal mushrooms that I take to help sleep. And the other thing is a grounding mat or a grounding cord. So I've got a grounding cord I put on my wrist, plug it in, and at least I'm grounded. So I've been sleeping better since I did that. But if you're not sleeping well, a lot of it is frequency. I have a sensitivity to electromagnetic frequencies, so I do switch everything off before I go to bed. My phone's off, my Wi-Fi's off, electricity around the area, as much as I can switch it off. And if I go and stay somewhere without, that's got Wi-Fi, again, I don't sleep too well. Now, just because I experience that doesn't mean to say you're not experiencing it. You might not be feeling it, but you're still getting the harmful effects from these things. So that's why, guys, we need to be on top of it with our health. So I'm going to leave it there, because I waffled on for quite a while and covered quite a lot of topics. But as I said, you can always join me. You can have a look at my link tree. I've got different consultations on there. We can come on and have a Zoom. You can always join me. You can have a look at my link tree. I've got different consultations on there. we can come on and have a Zoom together if you need any support. Otherwise, go to my website, go to my resource pages. There's a lot of free stuff on my YouTube. I do a lot of videos on there free, even food videos and things like that. So thank you everybody for joining me today on my second live, and it's getting a little bit easier now that I can see the comments. So even if you send me a message and let me know what you would like me to cover in regards to all things health, I can come on and do a little live. So have a lovely evening or morning wherever you are, and take care out there, guys. Lots of love.